Ducks. I'm Bermuda. He's Phil, and we're playing Dark Heresy. um, Starting a brand new adventure that Warren will tell us all about.
Oh, I don't know if I'd call it brand new, but after you guys seemingly killed Carrick inside the kind of little demi-plane thing he had going for himself that you guys wandered into, you jumped through a portal of some description that seemed to be your only clear way out of there that was flickering between several different areas. And luck would have it, you wound up here. So as soon as you jumped through the portal, the last thing any of you saw was a rather primordial jungle stretching out in front of you, and that's when you blacked out and, you know, collapsed unconscious on the sort of sand beside a beach that you appear to be on with the rock face in front of you. So a few hours later, you guys will all slowly start to wake up one by one, as injured or whatever as you were at the end of the fight, and you find yourselves on this beach on this strange world, and that's where we start. So feel free to do anything you want.
I propose for
I do.
no, for healing. Like Woe and Gabriel are wounded; they need attention.
I'll try my best.
Or do you want some good old-fashioned healing?
Bear in mind, you guys are out of food because when you were back in the swamp, Zarkov destroyed it all again.
Yes, he did.
I still have the
Okay.
survival thing for the water, but food, yeah.
Yeah.
No food.
I'll get closer.
So we murder Zarkov and eat his flesh.
I start with his eyes.
Sadly,
Okay.
that's heresy.
Yeah. Probably start working on R10.
Yeah, like if you want me to heal people, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah, well, two of you are fairly injured, the rest of you are, well, some of you are minorly injured in some
Blow
way.
just needs to come closer.
If you want healing, that is. Yeah. There you go.
What, it's an AoE heal?
No.
Whoa!
Oh, sorry. Forgot about the airplanes.
Forgot about the
Why
air
is there
raid.
airplanes today, George?
Yeah, I'm gonna take 8 damage to bump it up by 20. Or 29. This one, that's to heal myself.
You just hurt yourself to heal yourself.
Yeah, it's broken.
Hmm.
I want to change it. I gain 8 HP back. Have you overbleed a 5 from get another 4. No, 6. Flow. June. Victus. Is anyone not fully healed?
Well, they have to apply it first, so...
So I got 14, right?
By the looks of it, and then Flo got 9, I think.
No, Flo got 13.
Oh, 13.
Oh,
Who
good,
got 9?
then that's exactly how much I needed.
Victor's got 9.
Alright.
Yeah. But I think we're all at full. Let's
Right,
start
then.
off.
Except Zarkov.
Zarkov, would you like some Medicaid healing?
Is everyone full? Yeah. I'll
Yeah,
do one.
except you.
Yeah, I'll do one more on me then, and that's it.
Okay, so Zarkov uses the power of the warp to reseal your wounds and regenerate any lost flesh. It's never a nice feeling, but you do what you gotta do. So, with all that, very important needed right now kind of things out of the way. You guys find yourselves standing on a beach on a world that you have no idea where you are or what it is, but all around you, besides to the south, obviously, where the well, you say it's a beach, but it looks more like a very large lake of some description. Seems to, go off far into the distance. And then behind you, past the cliffs that rise out just above you, is a jungle that seems to stretch on forever in every direction. And
Sorry, continue.
yeah, the first thing you guys notice automatically is when you're breathing the atmosphere of this planet, it's semi-difficult to breathe, and it feels as if like the air is very fresh, but it's almost too fresh, as if it's like heavily oxygenated, if you know what I mean. So you can probably guess that the oxygen climate of this planet is a bit more towards oxygen rather than oxygen nitrogen. So basically the air is a lot heavier here. So when you take like a breath full into your lungs, it kind of feels like the air is almost weighing you down a bit, and it's strange, and you're slowly getting used to it. But it's a bit disconcerting whenever you have to breathe. Let's put it that way.
Can I try hyperventilate and see what happens? Do I gain an extra fate point?
You can try if you want.
You get high on oxygen.
If you want to do it, go ahead.
I will. I breathe incredibly heavily.
Roll toughness. Okay, so Ficus tries to test a theory, and it seems to go badly wrong, and he collapses.
Brilliant.
I sigh and start slapping him, trying to wake him up.
He doesn't seem to be able to be woken up.
Roll to hit.
Flo
God damn it.
scoops some water and splashes him with it.
Okay, so after a little bit of effort, you like slap him awake as well, and he sort of coughs and splatters up a load of phlegm from what's left of his actual, flesh that hasn't been cut off because he's a tech priest. And yeah, you don't want to be doing that again. All of you are finding it hard to breathe. Sucking in a lot more of it is probably a bad idea.
Alright, I put on my gas mask.
Okay, so I mean, the oxygen is breathable. It's just heavier and more laced with oxygen
Yeah,
than you're used to.
it doesn't have any plugs in, I just put it on.
Fair enough.
Looks.
I ask Ficus to use the picked fly to basically go up and see our surrounding from bird view.
Do you have to make a roll for it again? I can never remember it.
Only if they are like small stuff. It's if there is small stuff he can see, he needs to make an awareness -20. I just want to see if there are clear ways for us to follow.
Okay.
Like if there is something hidden, he makes an awareness -20.
Well, looking around, you fly the picked fly up a few meters into the air, and observing things around in like a 360 panoramic, you just see, as I said, the large lake or ocean. You're not really quite sure which it is. Seems to go on vastly far to what you presume is the south. You can't really tell because I don't know if any of you have like a compass of any description.
I have.
Yeah, well, if you want to use that, you can maybe get a bearing.
It's a survival test to use it for navigation, but the compass, I don't know how.
Okay, well, looking at the compass, taking it out, something strange occurs. The pins of the compass that usually point in between directions go rapidly between 2 points. Like, it shifts almost exactly perfectly. Like, it'll point one direction and then point the other direction almost like a second later exactly, then point the other direction a second later, like completely opposite of each other. One going this way, and then a second later it turns and goes this way, indicating that there's two very large poles with this planet that seem to be
50.
extremely powerful. Yeah, rather they seem to be almost completely equally balanced. so that magnetism seems to go between both of them.
Using the picked fly in those direction, looking at those directions using the picked fly, there isn't anything massive like.
No, it just goes on forever in every direction, like north, well, roughly north, or whatever this direction is. Oh, sorry, I moved you. Whatever direction this way and around this way is, there's just a huge forest that seems to go on forever with large mountains in the distance that way. And everything south-ish of you, or whatever this way is, just seems to be ocean or water.
I pick up my beach ball.
This is how you die, partying on a beach in some alien world.
I just imagine like waiting for the Inquisitor, taking a 10, working on the 10. I had an idea. Assuming there is life, humans on this world, I propose we start a fire on the forest.
We have a Voxcaster, don't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
you have a Voxcaster.
Yeah, probably work.
I'm worried what would happen if we started fires on a world heavy oxygen.
Well, we'll get a fire. We'll just get more of it.
Yeah.
And we need fuel for that. I don't.
The forest.
Be right
Yeah.
back a sec while you guys decide what to do.
Like,
I mean, I think I have a Voxcaster. I think if there's anything on this planet that would be able to see a fire, it would probably also be able to get a Vox signal.
not if they are primitive, like if they are medieval or even like a village of some kind.
Okay.
The Voxcaster's
But yeah, first before burning stuff, we should use the Voxcaster to see if there is any.
Okay, but if we don't get a signal, I think
harder.
most things run away from fire, even if they are humans. They wouldn't try and put it out, especially if it's something that's going to be so uncontrollable as a forest fire in a high oxygen world.
Really, they'll send someone to.
Maybe.
Yeah, but we have two decisions then: going north or pseudo north or pseudo south.
Oh, south's hard to go.
South is ocean.
Yeah,
We
so-
will need to ocean, no, lake. We'll need to build a raft or something, but that's taboo on role-playing games.
Oh, building rafts.
Going on water.
Oh, also like, isn't it? Wouldn't it be tech heresy? Because he's basically inventing something, right?
What?
Wouldn't it be tech heresy since inventing something?
Building a raft? No.
But the Mechanicus don't use rafts; they use like boats and that. So
It would on. I don't think it would be heresy. Like it would be below a tech priest building one. Like they are better than that, but I don't think it's heresy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So first things first, we test the Voxcaster. Then, do you guys agree on setting a fire or?
they just walk into the forest.
Okay.
Alright, I'm back. What's the plan?
Welcome back.
Voxcaster.
We test out the Voxcaster, seeing if we get any signals.
Alright, make a tech use of.
Flat. Boom.
Okay, so fiddling around with the Voxcaster, Fika spends a while the rest of you, I don't know what you're doing, because it takes him about 20-30 minutes.
Sandcastles mostly.
I stand watch, look around.
So about 20-25 minutes later, Ficus seems to pick up something strange coming from somewhere on the planet. It's a very faint Vox signal that you doubt would be able to penetrate the atmosphere of this planet, let alone get more than a few hundred kilometers at most from wherever it's broadcasting from. It's extremely weak. And it's a very strange broadcast that when you attune to it, no real visible sound comes out. Because of your augmented senses, you could hear sort of a low pitch sound that seems to beep in a strange mathematical sequence. And you're not quite sure where the Vox frequency is coming from.
Do you want me to roll tech use to figure out what mathematical sequence this is or something?
It would be logic to figure that out, but with tech use, you could triangulate roughly where the signal is coming from.
Yeah, so you have 2 rolls to do.
Does anyone feel more logical than 27?
More logical than
Yeah.
27?
If you have cryptology, that would also work, but I doubt you have cryptology. So.
I'm not logical.
Go for another tech use, man.
Ficus believes he's found where the God Emperor has been hiding the last 10,000 years. But no, you can't make heads or tail of whatever the mathematical sequence is. You can also not triangulate exactly where the frequency is coming from. You only know that it's within 100 to 200 kilometers somewhere close by.
Don't you want to use a fate point, Phil?
Yes, I do.
Laser clamp.
Laser clamps indeed.
Okay, so while you can't make out at all what the sequence is trying to portray, you can tell that it is roughly 156 kilometers in the direction this way, through the jungle. Somewhere in that area. Okay, and it is giving off a very, like I said, low frequency. And despite that, roll Common Lore Imperium if you have it.
Everyone or just?
Just him, because he's the only one. Well, everyone can do it actually, because I'm sure he's explaining the frequency it's on and everything.
I have tech and machine cult. Right, it.
It's just Common Lore Imperium, really.
I don't seem to have that.
Okay, so Flo knows that the frequency being broadcast is in a bandwidth commonly used by the Imperium. So it sounds like it's an Imperial signal. Okay, so you have a supposed Imperial signal broadcasting a strange series of low beeps and frequency that only Ficus can really make out because of his augmentations, coming from this direction. And it's very weak, only a couple of hundred kilometers.
Yeah, I propose we head off to that direction.
It is, however, getting quite dark, just so you guys know. Like, it's about, well, the sun's going to go down in the next hour or so.
Then I have a survival kit. They have tents and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if we had to roll survival, but
No, you can literally just set up tents and stuff wherever you want.
yeah, we had like not inside and some of us are tired, not just me and Zarkov. I propose we set up camp in between the beach and the forest. Not too deep in the forest because we don't know what dangers lurk.
Well, you could set up here. It's got good cover if you want to do, or you can go into the jungle. It's up to you either.
Yeah, I just would be afraid the tide coming in or something.
Well, make an awareness test for me, actually.
Okay.
Everyone?
Anyone can make an awareness test.
How do I have so much awareness and I failed that?
I don't know.
Alright, so it's becoming darker.
If everyone fails, I'll reroll.
The only one who hasn't rolled is Ollie, but he's not here right now. So.
Okay, I'll reroll. Laser clamp. Okay.
I'll reroll. I have awareness plus 20. There's no reason I should fail this.
Oh, and I should be rolling with a minus 10.
You're fatigued.
I have heightened senses, but fatigue, yeah, should be flat.
That is true. I have heightened senses hearing. Is this based on hearing or not really?
Based on sight more than anything else.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
Okay. So Flo / Savon realizes that in the hour or two you've been on the beach trying to figure things out, the tide level hasn't gone up or down at all. As in, it's stayed static where it is. Perhaps this planet doesn't suffer a strong tidal presence as most planets do. Maybe it has the absence of any sort of moon to influence that.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems to stay rather static around where it is now. It probably takes weeks or days for the tide to rise compared to normal planets. And you can probably guess that's true based upon the stratification of like the rocks around here.
So there's no ebb and flow.
There is ebb and flow, it's just at a crawl compared to other planets, if you know what I mean. It takes like weeks for it to go up a couple of inches, if you know what I mean. So, based upon that, you can guess that this planetoid, whatever it is, also has no moon or anything around it, and no real strong influences from its sun or other planets or anything like that.
We then set up camp and rest. And
Alright.
prepare for the morning.
I had a camp thing set up. Ooh, that should be
Ouch.
And
should have been map layer.
And I ask, like, we need to set up watch
There you go.
people to watch.
Can I perch up here?
Yeah,
is
sure.
that
That's it's only like a meter up. So.
Yeah, I'll keep watch from there.
So, like you guessed, starting a fire is quite easy on this planet because the over-rich oxygen atmosphere allows fires to spark up quite easily. That's also something to note. So, yep, you get it started quite easily. So, when darkness finally comes to the side of the planet, it's quite quick compared to other planets. You can guess that the day and night cycle of this planet is probably a little faster, and you can also summarize that because you feel slightly less heavy on this planet when you move. The gravity is probably slightly lower than on other Terran worlds you've been to. So, you know, compared to Earth, it's got like 0.8 gravity, if you know what I mean. So there's a bounce in your steps, basically. Which also means that the planet is probably spinning a bit faster than other planets any of you have ever been on before. Which is why the day and night cycle seems to be about 8 hours long at the most.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Can we remove fatigue?
Yeah, if you sleep for 8 hours, you can remove fatigue. Yeah, all of
Okay.
fatigue.
We also set up like watches, like sleep some hours, then watch. The other one that was watching before goes to sleep, and so on.
Yeah, I know how D&D works.
Yeah.
So, can anyone who's going to be on watch make an awareness test for me? You'll need at least like 3 people to be on watch if you're taking 2-hour shifts or so.
I'd make a good watchman.
Would I get any pluses for having night vision?
Yeah, sure.
I
Plus 10 for the night vision.
then it would be plus 24. I would have 4.4.
I see nothing, Captain.
Alright, so anyone who gets over 2 degrees of success on this are close to it, like Bermuda.
And me?
Yeah, you guys come to a very interesting conclusion during the night. Where normally during the night, creatures, the vast majority of the predators and other things tend to be nocturnal to avoid, easy detection during the day when they're out foraging for food or hunting. On this planet, there is nothing but silence. The only thing you hear is wind rustling through the jungle behind you. it's almost as if there is no fauna on this planet whatsoever. It's simply vegetation. So when normally you would hear insects or like small creatures of some kind or another foraging or scuttling about in a wilderness like this, nothing but silence except the rustling of trees. So there are no animals of any description that you can hear during the night.
Damn it, no food.
I mean, no meat.
I said no food.
Yeah. Okay, I'm less worried about giant bears, but now I'm worried about poisonous plants and stuff. Okay, so nothing strange happens until we all wake up.
Yep.
Okay, then we pack up our stuff and ride into the radio thing.
Okay, so when morning comes, you all pack up your stuff, put out the fire that kept you warm during the night, and head it off. So the choice is which direction you want to go. You could climb over the cliff and go straight ahead, or you could go to the left or the right. It's up to you. Bear in mind the signal is in general this way by Ficus's reckoning. Or Ficus's, whatever, Ficus, yeah.
Yeah, climbing. How high is this?
It's only a couple of meters, like 3 or 4 meters. You could easily climb it up even without a check.
Okay, we climb.
Okay.
I suppose.
Alright, so you guys, at the break of dawn, in the very quick cycle, make for the direction of the signal.
I'm making decisions, but if you guys want to do something else, like
No, I agree. We should head in the direction of the signal, and we should climb up. If I disagreed, I'd probably bring it up.
Okay, so scrabbling over the edge of the seawall cliff, under which you guys spent the night, come off into the jungle and see, the following paths before you. So the jungle around you is typically Terran. Most of everything you've seen before, the trees follow the general evolutionary path that most trees seem to see, though with odd variations. The colors of this planet, you note, are not very elaborate or different from one another. It's generally bland greens and browns, which among you guys, because you've been on quite a few planets, notes that probably means this planet has a very monotype genetic structure, as in all the plants are very similar. Which means that this planet has either had very little influence from any outside alien race, or it's completely unknown, which does not bode well. Okay? As in, it hasn't been terraformed by anyone or brought outside influence, because wherever the Imperium goes, it tends to bring a ton of high strain plants with it to grow and things like that sort of come to dominate the planet. But this one is very much a wild world. Most of the trees are very long and thin, and a great many of them have protruding sort of pustule kind of spikes on them that kind of look like seed sacs, except spiky, if you know what I mean. So kind of like acorns, except spiky.
I try to open one of those seed sacks and look at the contents. They look edible or not.
Yeah, so you pull it off and you crack it open, and the inside is very kind of like the inside of a coconut, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It looks fairly edible. It smells kind of rank, but other than that, a quick you could roll survival to see if it's edible or not. It doesn't smell the greatest, but it doesn't look overtly poisonous either.
Yeah, I don't have survival, so I'll just test it. I'd say to the group. like keep watch on me if I look sick.
If I die, don't eat the weird fruit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I eat that and see if I die.
Okay. So, eating a bit of the fruit and sucking a bit of the water from the inside of it, it doesn't taste very appetizing, especially to you since you're used to noble food,
Yeah.
Victus. But you don't puke or anything else, and you find it oddly filling. But for the most part, it's fairly disgusting. But it looks like it's edible.
Yeah, I say to the group if they want to risk it. This is, in my opinion, food.
Flo isn't picky.
And I pack some. Like if it's abundant on my surroundings, I like pack.
Oh yeah, it's everywhere because there's no fauna of anything to speak of. There's just like seeds everywhere, even just some on the ground. But...
Okay, so we continue.
So you guys continue into the direction, going on for a while, picking up whatever seeds you can get along the way, I guess, cracking some of them open and eating whatever you can if you're hungry. After a while, everybody, well, not everybody, actually, just give me a sec. Ficus, would you make an awareness test for me, +10?
Yes. I'm not going to notice anything. I pre-edge it.
Laser clamp.
Free edge. It's fortunately not Shadow One, but... You can pre-fade it for an extra 10 if you want.
Oh!
Okay, so Ficus, you could have sworn on the periphery of your vision while you guys were traipsing through the jungle that some sort of shape, almost made of dark mist of some description, moved through the underbrush on the side of the trees to your right while you guys were marching to the jungle. It didn't have any real discernible figure, but it was large enough to be a creature of some kind, and you could have sworn it was there. But then the second when you blinked or like rubbed your eyes and had a look again, the sort of gaseous dark shadow seemed to flit from your vision and disappear, but you could have sworn you saw something.
Can I quickly try and write down what I saw with my trade copyist?
Yeah, sure. It was mostly just a like large dark visage that seemed to be smoking sort of black shadow.
Are you
Yep.
sure?
Yeah, so you do a very good image of what you saw. I don't know if you want to share that with the others, but you could have sworn you saw that.
Show everyone.
It's a very good dark blur.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is proof that Bigfoot exists.
Yeah, it's essentially the Bigfoot image, yeah.
I say to the group, stay sharp. We still don't know what dangers lurk in here.
Does anybody with heretical law dark blurs know what this is?
Dark blur could describe 90% of everything, but yeah.
I have forbidden lore, heresy. I don't know if that works. Yeah. If no one can identify the blur, I assume we head on, but with care.
Okay, so you guys head on for another hour or two, and you cover quite a large distance. But eventually, in the 8 hours cycle, you guys maybe walked 50 or so kilometers, and the signal is getting stronger, Ficus, so you know you're going in the right direction, but once again, it's getting kind of dark. Eventually, you guys do manage to reach here. Just copy paste you guys. Okay, so you get what seems to be a dried up riverbed of some description, and you can tell that the signal is coming from somewhere in this direction now. Like you guys have gone a bit too much to the left, if you know what I mean. So it's coming from somewhere north, well, what you think is northeast.
Can we make an estimate on how far?
He can do a tech use test again to try and recalculate the distance he thinks how far away it is.
That I shall.
Okay, so you definitely see that the signal is getting stronger, and the rhythmic pulse can now be heard by all of you. Instead of the low humming that was barely visible on the human spectrum that only Ficus could really hear, you now all hear this kind of nascent pulse that's coming out of the Voxcaster when he changes to the frequency. And yeah, let me see. What have you got? Everyone can roll logic again at a +10, or let me read. Or you can roll a common lore tech for me. Okay. So Botanmira and Ficus
Obrigado.
have a good idea of what this pulse is. You can tell that it is some sort of basic binary cant that George, we can hear you,
George.
Eugene.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that is commonly used by the Mechanicus, or sometimes used as a sort of battle cant by Imperial forces when they don't want people who are listening to the Vox frequency to know exactly what they're saying, and it seems to be on a repeating loop. So it's a small sort of SOS sort of encryption, if you know what I mean. So if anyone has
Secret tongue tech.
yeah, secret tongue tech could work if it's from Mechanicus. If it's anything else, common lore or scholastic lore, Tactica Imperialis would work as well.
I did not know that. What about common law
Yeah.
machine cult?
Yeah, you could do common lore machine cult. Okay. So you can tell that this is a repeating sequence of numbers that was definitely set by some form of adept of the Mechanicus. Perhaps one that was attached to an Imperial Guard regiment, maybe. It's kind of hard to tell, really. But the sequence repeats again and again and again, and after a little bit of reading between the lines, you come to the conclusion that it's some sort of geosynchronous locator beacon, and you're unsure of why it's pinging what it's doing. And without an actual cardiograph of the planet, you have no idea what it means, but it seems to be repeating again and again coordinates somewhere, within space, but only over a very short distance.
Is it some lost?
No, it's not lost. Yes, it's a French woman that's saying everybody's dead and etc. etc. Then a polar bear attacks you. And then a smoke monster comes out of nowhere and starts killing people.
Well,
That's the smoke monster, the blur I saw earlier, right?
yeah,
No.
that's what I was going to say.
No, that was the bear.
Okay, so the thing is giving us coordinates, or
It seems to be beaming out what Ficus thinks is geosynchronous coordinates of a planet that may match the size of this planet. He can't tell because you don't know what planet you're on.
okay.
And it's based upon the size of the planet, obviously. But without like a decent cardiograph of this planet, he has no idea where it is. It just seems to be
So-
locator coordinates.
If I was intelligent, I'd be able to say, okay, so I think that's the North Pole and that's the South Pole because we know where we are.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched the sun move across the sky, so I also be able to use maths to work out the length of a day and thus the size of the planet. So then I'd be able to have at least a 50-50% chance of knowing which direction everything was, because of course you'd start at north when making a geo.
You can roll.
location.
You can roll logic with a +20 to try and guesstimate like the size of the planet and everything else. Yeah.
Plus 20. God damn.
Okay, so if what you think is true based upon the size of the planet, the coordinate. Okay, so you note that the coordinate of the planet has, well, that's been beeped out by the frequency, has one extra digit that is normal in most planetoids. And among other things, you guesstimate that this planet is very large in size, perhaps 3 to 4 times the size of a normal Terran planet within a habitable distance of a star. That it is spinning at about 3 times the speed of a normal planetoid, and you can guesstimate roughly with a 50% chance, because as I said, when you looked at the compass, it was pinging back and forth between two places, so you're
Yeah.
not sure which one is north and which is south. But you have two rough locations you think that might be the coordinates that the signal is pinging out to you. One of them is in this direction, where you think the outpost or whatever is sending the imperial frequency is, and the other is completely in the other direction based upon the pinging. So it may just simply be broadcasting where it's broadcasting from. You know what I mean? Again and again and again. So if
Well,
that's
that
true,
makes
the only
sense.
thing that does that is a distress beacon.
Yeah. Well, at least that means there's potentially a ship or something with greater signaling capacity than what we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So you judge it's maybe 48 kilometers more, so you could push on through the night cycle of this planet and get there before dawn, or you guys could rest for another 8 hours, but you've only been up for about 8 hours, like I said.
I ask the group
Uh,
if they are able to instead of making camp, head out now.
I say to Victus, the blur that I saw was awake during the day. If it is hunting us during the day, it is most likely going to be asleep during the night. So perhaps we should move on.
Okay, I agree.
If it was a nocturnal creature, it would be sleeping during the day.
Okay, so you guys decide to push on.
Yeah.
Alright, so you push on, continuing for another few hours. And you push on through the night. I presume you guys have like glow lamps and stuff, don't you? Yeah. So you're
Yeah,
alright.
and some of us have night vision and stuff.
Stinky night vision.
Yeah, stinky goggles.
So Victus, make an awareness test for me. If you have night vision, that's at +10. Okay, so while you're leading the group through the jungle, based upon Ficus's calculations of where you need to go, you could have sworn you saw a strange buzzing creature in the canopy of the trees above you for a moment. And then, much like the way Ficus described, it was a shadowy, sort of blurry, gaseous shape. And then it too disappeared from your mind's eye, but left you with an extreme sense of paranoia that something is watching you.
I communicate with Gloria, the ciphers, that the creature also hunts at night. I just saw it and I stay up.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's probably some form of machine spirit.
Alright, well, you guys push on, I guess?
Yep.
Okay.
With that, do I gain the paranoia talent?
No. Just leaves you with a sense of paranoia. So, at the break of dawn on what is basically considered a second day, or like 24 hours into your being on this planet, you guys break out of some undergrowth at the base of a large, sort of imposing bare rock cliff. And what you thought was initially just a rugged cliff face turns out to be something else entirely. So from a distance, completely weathered in old jungle vines and, dusted with the, decay of age, you guys come upon what is undoubtedly an old imperial fortification of some kind that was very hard to see in the distance because, as I said, it looks like it's been completely abandoned and vines and, other growths have completely grown over it so that it looks more like it's part of the cliff face rather than the bastion that it used to be. And an old Aquila, large Aquila that was probably on the side of the building, seems to have fallen off and collapsed below, and likewise being covered in vines as well.
Do we see the large turret on the...
Yes, you can see what appears to be a Hydra quad turret at the top of the bastion.
Do I know that... do I know if they can be operated automatically? Like, without...
It depends upon the sophistication of the system. Like, the Mechanicus would probably have them automated, but Imperial Guard generally have them manned and things like that.
I had to the Aquila, I cleaned it a little bit and do a sign for the God Emperor and be away inside.
Okay, so the only visible way inside is this entryway over here. It seems to head into the facility.
I see.
So is everybody going inside?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you get inside, it branches off in two directions. This way seems to, if everybody zooms out a bit, you can see my red marker.
Mm-hmm.
Over here. To the left, or sorry, to the right, seems to lead to some sort of communications room. And though most of the arcane machines are dead and long out of power for what could have been decades or centuries, one device seems to be using what remains of the very slim amount of energy in the facility, and it seems to be a Vox relayer of some description. To the left seems to lead off into the main area of the bastion. In here, this tower goes up like 3 or so floors. The first floor seems to be a mess hall, cafeteria, and then a small area for an armory. The second floor seems to be crew quarters, and then the top floor seems to be a command and control area. And then up there leads to a hatch, which leads to the roof where the Hydra gun is. And then over here, this is a rather strange area that you wouldn't really assume to see inside an Imperial Bastion. It seems to be a small sort of Mechanicus research outpost of some description, kind of like a lab, and most of the equipment has either been removed or evacuated or destroyed. And you guys should just put your characters where you want to be inside the facility.
I ask all of the group to meet up on the communications place, see if Ficus can relay the message to the Inquisition.
Yeah, so that's the communication ice, and that's the dish on top of it, which is probably sending the Vox communication.
Oops. Grabbed you. Yeah, basically, do we have like knowledge on how to send a message, like high priority message to the Inquisition, like we are here, save us?
Okay, well you can make a tech use test, Ficus, to like have a look through the facility and see what you can figure out. Okay, so your tech use test indicates what you pretty much already knew. This is definitely a command center, or sorry, communication center of some description. At one point, the very powerful radar or Vox dish on top of the facility would have been able to send signals throughout most of the system around this planet, wherever you are, that is to say. However, the reactor that has been powering it for the last few years has mostly run out of juice completely and is on its last legs. You guessed that it could maybe last a couple more years relaying the message over and over again, but if you were to turn all the equipment on, it may last a week before everything finally butters out and dies, before there's no more fuel left to power everything. As for the rest of the machinery, it might be advantageous to turn on the power simply to look through the log files of the communications or even the archive systems to learn of like the various cogitators to learn about what this facility is or what planet you're on. But other than that, you could kill the repeating frequency if you wanted to, and try and send out another message. But like I said, in its current state, it seems to have been everything was powered down to conserve energy, and just repeat that message again and again in a very small distance, if you know what I mean. So there's no way the Inquisition will ever receive it unless they had someone on the planet within 200 kilometers, if you know what I mean. So you could power everything in the facility for like a week if you wanted to, and you'd have like running, showers and everything. But everything would gutter out in about a week, or you could like prioritize what systems you want to turn on again.